Hi guys, this is Dormouse03, and this is going to be my Assassin's Creed 3 guide to the Perfectionist Achievement, so completing 100% of all main mission constraints. And so this is going to be Sequence 1, and I'm going to put all of Sequence 1 in this video. As it goes along, the sequences might get a little bit longer, and so I might split them up, but for right now I'm going to keep them sequence by sequence. And this first one is really easy. It's just sort of introducing you back to Assassin's Creed and the climbing mechanics and all of that good stuff. And so the first thing that you sort of need to know as far as doing this achievement, doing the main mission constraints, is that when you get a constraint, they don't show up at the beginning of the sequence. So you can't, as you could in the other Assassin's Creed games, sort of go to your menu, or it pops up on the screen when you get the mission, and it tells you everything you need to do. Because in this one there are multiple constraints sometimes, and there's our first one. So it popped up in the left, and I sort of missed it. Because they come up really fast sometimes, and it's easy to get confused about, oh, now what is it wanting me to do? So as I run around flailing for a second, I was like, what does it want me to do here? And so I see these guys over there, and I'm like, okay, I need to check. And so this is the part of the menu where you're going to go to when you see that icon pop up in the left, or if you're concerned that you missed one, you want to go to the DNA tracker, which is one to the left, right there, and check your synchronization within the different sequences. So you can look here and see that now we have this little open circle here. It says perform an air assassination, and when you do that, that will turn blue and the circle will fill up. So this one is really easy, and you only have to do one. There are two guys, and so you have two opportunities to air assassinate. The easiest one, I guess, is this first guy. They're both easy, but might as well go ahead and get it done with this first dude. And see how it popped up in the left? The circle turned blue to show you that you had completed that objective. And so now you can take out this guy with another air assassination, or you can just take him out normally. It doesn't matter. You'll still complete that constraint. And so that is the only constraint within this mission right here. I'm going to go ahead and let it finish out, just so that I can talk for a second. So this is going to be, I'm going to do this on my first playthrough, which is kind of ambitious, I guess. But so if you see me just screwing about, I'm going to try to, you know, refrain from that as much as possible, or cut out things where I maybe got confused about what I was supposed to do and flailed around. But for the most part, they haven't been too bad. It can get really confusing, though, when they'll just pop up and you have, you know, literally no time to figure out what it wants you to do, and you failed one. So this can be a bit of a challenge if you're doing it your first time playing through, but I guess if you're watching these videos, maybe you'll have the benefit of my experience with it. So that was the end of Sequence 1. You will get an achievement right there. And if you look in the left, it'll show, you know, your synchronization. It goes up and you get more points. And then it will say full synchronization when you've done it. So you can also go back into your menu here to check and make sure that you've got it. It will say 100%, and it'll show you, you know, that you fulfilled the requirement. So if you ever look at that and it says less than 100%, or any of those little dots are not filled up, and blue, then you haven't finished the requirements for that sequence, and you should replay it. But it's really easy to replay the sequences. You know, you just go in and there's an icon that says replay, or you can go into the DNA menu and click which mission that you want to replay. So that part is great, and that sort of returns from the other Assassin's Creed. Something that is different about this one, which is really nice, is that you do have the ability to reload a checkpoint, and that will allow you to complete a constraint that you missed, if it is, if you haven't hit another checkpoint yet. So if you know that you failed something, or that you're gonna fail something and you want to reload the checkpoint, it won't, like it did in the previous Assassin's Creed games, make you replay the entire mission. You can reload that checkpoint, so that is pretty cool. And I'm really, really glad that they put that in there, because that was one of the most frustrating things about getting those completionists achievements for the missions in the earlier games. So this mission is really, really straightforward. I don't think there are any optional constraints within this mission. It's just going through and completing it. And I'm going to be trimming out a bunch of the cutscenes in these missions, just because, to keep the length down, and because they're not really necessary to sort of show you what it is that you need to do. And so this right here, I'm not quite sure why it took so long to locate the target, whether I didn't have it in the right spot on the screen or something, but it's that person up there on the top left, or top right, and I'm like, yep, that's who it is. Why isn't it highlighting? So just I guess try to make sure it's in the very center of your screen, and that seemed to work to make it highlight and carry through. And so now you just have to get over there to that person, and it sort of shows you exactly where to go just then. So you're going to get up, and you're going to go over to the left. You do have to push your stick forward a little bit to sort of get up out of the chair, and then just walk through here to the left. And then this part is really, really easy and very straightforward, except you can't climb over that. You have to go around. And I'm like, why can't you climb over that? I don't know the answer, but you have to go around and then climb up that ladder there and head around to the right as I figure out where to go. Because I assumed that you wouldn't be climbing out around, in front where everyone could see you, but I guess you are. And since they're all focused on watching the opera, they don't notice. So you just climb around and then climb up in these middle partitions and enjoy the nice scenery, because these games, and this one is no exception, have fantastic environments. And yes, I am really, really, really enjoying the look and feel of this new edition. So it's very nice. Now right here you will be introduced to another new mechanic, and it's lock picking, and it's kind of interesting. So you have to rotate your left thumbstick until it starts to vibrate, and you have the right place, and then you rotate the right thumbstick until it hits the right place, and then you're supposed to push the right trigger. And you sort of hold both thumbsticks in the right spot, and then push right trigger a couple of times, and it will pick the lock. So that's an interesting lock picking mechanic, a little bit different than I've seen in other games, but not too difficult to achieve, and probably more realistic to what lockpicking is actually like. So once you do that, you're going to be in this sort of backstage area, climbing around on this scenery. And how nobody hears you or sees you around here is sort of a mystery, but it's pretty linear. I mean, there aren't very many places that you can go. As you can see, it only allows you to go sort of in the right direction for right now, which is cool. Um, Climbing around on suns and moons and props and scaffolding. And you will eventually make your way around and hear some people talking and get to the right spot. So I'm going to leave this in because it is sort of an interactive cutscene. You're going and this is your target. And like I said, this is the only constraint for this mission, is to murder this dude, whoever he may be, in his nice powdered wig. I'm telling you, I don't understand the powdered wig stuff, and I haven't brushed up on my history about, why they wore those. I think it was something to do with status and rank, but there's the X prompt for you to assassinate that guy, so you want to make sure to do that. And then you are essentially done with this mission. You do have to get out, and I don't know if it's I'm sure it is possible for you to fail while you're escaping if you go the wrong way or take too much time or draw too much attention or something. I'm sure you can fail this part, so we'll go ahead and leave it in. But you basically want to just follow those little yellow icons on the screen and calmly make your way out of the opera house so that they don't suspect that, you're a murderer as they tackle that dude and try to blame him. And you chuckle. So yeah, I don't know about the, oh, and it's showing you here that you hold A to sort of walk faster and push people out of your way. It's not the sort of shoving people out of your way as you're running that will attract attention or potentially make you fall down. You just hold it and it'll allow you to just walk a little bit faster and get through crowds. So that's cool. So yeah, the powdered wig thing. If anybody knows what that's all about, let me know. Maybe I'll look it up on and let you guys know if I find out what that whole deal was all about. 'Cause I don't get it. I just don't understand. I'm pretty sure it was supposed to be a sign of like power or status or whatnot, but in my opinion, they're pretty tacky looking. So you just walk out this door, and then that sequence is complete. So we're on to the third and final mission of this first sequence, and this one is, again, not super difficult, but it's a good example of how you will get multiple constraints within a mission that do not pop up at the beginning. So, for the most part, it's fairly linear. You can interact with these folks. But I'm going to show you right now, kind of checking that you've got the 100% sync on the one before, because it just only had the constraint to go complete the mission, basically. So there it is. It didn't really have any optional objectives. But now this one, it looks like it doesn't have any optional objectives, but it will. And this is what makes it sort of confusing, especially when you're going through the first time, because you'll look at that, you'll think, oh, I don't have any optional objectives in this, but when you actually do. So you can play a game with that dude. I'm not going to show you that right now. I may put some of the mini games in there when later when we're going for the achievement. But for right now, I'm just going to be going through this mission. And so yeah, as you saw, it didn't show you that there was anything that you necessarily had to do other than complete the mission. But that's deceptive because there will be extra objectives that pop up throughout the course of the mission, and this one has two. And when you're not expecting them, or if you don't know where they are, it can sometimes be difficult to keep track of when they pop up and what exactly you have to do. So the first one will pop up right here when you go into this little introduction to the combat of this game. And so the optional objective will pop up in the top left. I completely missed it because I was focused on learning, how the combat was a little bit different. And so I didn't even see that it had popped up. But luckily enough, I got it anyway. And so I'm able to show you what it is and how to do it. So you're going to be fighting these dudes, and the objective will pop up there in the top left to tell you that you need to do this without losing more than 10% of your health. So, and it's not difficult. You just need to hold down B right here so that you parry his attacks, and then you push X to hit him. And so it should be simple enough to do that first little section without getting hit. Now the game's going to introduce you to the counter system, which is a little bit different than the previous games, where you had to hold down one of the triggers and then push X to counter. Well, right now you're not doing anything. You have to push B at a precise moment when the little icon above him lights up to show you that he's going to hit you. You have to push B and then hit X while it's in that little slow-mo for a second. So it makes the combat slightly more challenging to pull off than it was in the previous games, which is kind of nice because it did seem like it was a little too easy before. So you're going to do the same thing now. You're going to counter and then hit X to knock him out. And then he's going to be a douche and pull a knife on you. So now you're going to be introduced to disarming, and so when you don't have a weapon, and they do, you can do the same thing, push B at the moment when he goes to attack you to counter him. And you'll see how I got hit there, but didn't lose very much health at all. So you hit B to counter, and then you push A to disarm. And that will take you through the end of that. And so you'll see now how it's blue, it's filled in. I didn't lose more than 10% of my health, and I did get hit twice. So I got hit once just by the guy punching me when I was doing the counter, and then I got hit again by the guy with his dagger or sword or whatever he had. But I was still able to complete it. It didn't look like I was losing much health at all. So, I don't know, I guess you'd really have to mess up the timing of the counters, or not be blocking, or just be doing something wrong in order to mess that up. So, but now you can see that if you go back into the DNA tracker, it will show that optional objective now. And so it's filled in. I know that I've completed it. But it was not there before. And so that makes it slightly confusing as to, what you're going to do. Right now, I'm going to just move ahead a little bit, do some fast forward on this section, because there's no optional objectives here. You're just going, you're interacting with these people, and, I'm sure you guys can figure out what you're doing here. It's very linear. You go to the yellow circles, you interact with the folks, you see the little cutscenes, and that is pretty much all that you're doing right here. And every time you come back from a cutscene, it'll show you that optional objective again. And so you don't ever have to do that again, though. You can lose health now, I do believe, and that objective is still complete. So, you were supposed to do it when you were learning the fighting. That was when it was taking place. Now it's over. This right here is another little fight sequence. I don't think like I said, I'm fairly sure that you could mess up there and lose some health, and you would still have that optional objective completed because it has been filled in already. So, but just counter him and kill him, just like you did in the practice fights. But I don't think, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I do not believe that once those optional objective circles are blue and filled, that you can fail that objective because it's already been completed. So, and I know for certain that I lose more than 10% of my health here at a section coming up because I fall. And so, I know for sure that that did not affect it. But so yeah, this is again just some cinematic stuff. This was a nice, I think, little introduction to the game, sort of teaching you the mechanics and whatnot, and you cannot jump over that the wheel, so don't try to do that like I did and failed miserably. But yeah, I think it was a nice introduction to the combat. It's a nice introduction to the climbing that you had in the previous mission, and now on these riggings. Just, the controls are very good, but occasionally you will get to a spot where you are jumping when you don't want to. And so you just have to be really careful with holding down that right trigger or holding A to move faster, because sometimes you will end up jumping off, and this is just like the other Assassin's Creeds. Sometimes you will jump off just like that when you don't want to. And so you see there I lost probably about half of my health just then. And it does not fail that optional objective for me. So that is very, very good. So just, yeah. Gotta get back into the old Assassin's Creed controls. So make sure you're not hopping up and down for no reason. And another thing that you'll notice is that your health regenerates now, so you don't have those squares of health like you used to and have to take medicine to heal yourself again. It automatically regenerates, like it just did. And now here is the second optional objective that you want to do, and it's going to be saving James, who is in some trouble right now. And so you have to do it within a time limit, and I believe it's 30 seconds that you have to get to him, and it's pretty easy to do. I mean, I went over and it was like 10 seconds that it took me to get over there to him, so it's not difficult at all. You just want to make sure that you don't fall or something, so that you would have to retrace your steps and get back up there to him. You want to just make sure you're running along that straight pathway, and you will complete that objective. So you'll see that both of those things are blue and filled and complete, and you are then golden for this mission and for this sequence. So that is sequence 1 for Assassin's Creed 3, and the only thing left in this mission is to climb up the mast and see the little opening cinematic. So I'm having a really, really good time with this game so far. I think that it is a fantastic entry in this series. I'm really, really excited about it, and I hope that other people are as well. And I hope that this is going to be a useful guide. I was debating what I was going to do for this game because I knew I was going to do something for it. And so I decided to go for this 100% sync for the missions, and so I hope that it is entertaining and helpful for people out there. And I am certainly open for suggestions on other content from this game that people want to see. I know a friend and I are going to do some Wolfpack stuff, and so I'll be posting some of those as well, which is a really fun mode. We're having a lot of fun with it, so... but yeah, let me know what you guys want to see. Let me know if this is interesting and or helpful to you, and I will do my best to give you guys what you are wanting from this game, because it's a really, really good one, and I am up for doing different things with it. Just fantastic environments, and the music is very, very good as well. And so you can now check and make sure that you should be at about 4% completion for that and 2% total completion here, and you'll see that all of your missions from Sequence 1 are at 100%. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope that this was helpful to you, and I will see you again for Sequence 2, which is a little longer and a little bit more challenging than this opening sort of tutorial sequence. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in Sequence 2.